Hi, I'm Joe, this is Busby Bakes, and today we're going to learn to make a basic white bread dough. Okay, so today we're going to keep it really simple. Basically 4 or 5 ingredients in a KitchenAid, mix for around 5 minutes, and that is going to give us a really basic white bread dough to work with. So for the purposes of this video, I have pre-weighed my ingredients, but normally I would weigh as I go. So I'd recommend getting a decent set of kitchen scales that can weigh in 1 gram increments and that you can reset the sort of counter every time you add an ingredient. So add your flour, reset, add your yeast, reset, salt and so on. So I've pre-weighed so we can sort of just crack on with the recipe. First things first, we need our bowl. Into that I'm going to add 1.2 kilos of strong white bread flour. So like I say, this is pretty cheap, but when you're starting out, like I say, you want economical ingredients, so if this does go wrong and you bake a brick, you can throw it away without worrying too much. So 1.2 kilos of bread flour. Into that I add 12 grams of instant yeast. So that's this stuff, instant yeast, works really quickly, consistently, and it's going to give you a really good result. To that then 20 grams of salt, and then finally your water. Now I do use slightly tepid water just to get everything working a bit quicker. You can use cold water, but obviously it slows everything down. You may develop more flavour, etc. But I suggest when you're starting out, use slightly warm water and you'll see the results much quicker, and you're going to guarantee that this rises. So that is 780 grams of water. Now if you know anything about dough hydrations, that works out at exactly 65% hydration. But don't get too hung up about it. At this stage you don't need to worry about that. Into the mixer, and we're going to switch on low speed till the flour and water have kind of incorporated, and then we can crank it up to a 2. If you switch it onto a high speed straight away, you're just going to get flour everywhere. And for kneading dough, you really want to keep it around the 1 and 2 mark. Okay, so that's formed a rough dough, so now I can crank that up to 2 and we'll let that knead for about 5 minutes. Okay, so that's been about 5 minutes, dough's starting to look nice and smooth, edge of the bowl is clean, so we're probably about there. Let's have a look. There we go, see, looking nice and smooth and stretchy. If we just take that off the dough hook. Now what I normally do is just stick a plate on that and leave that to prove for about an hour or until the dough's touching the plate. And for the video we'll get the dough out and have a look at the texture, consistency and see what we're aiming for. So we'll turn this out. There we go. Nice and elastic, smooth, not sticky. That's the thing, if you do get any stuck in your hands, if you just rub them together, it'll come off and you can just incorporate that back into the dough. So I mean, you could knead this by hand, but we've done it 5 minutes in the KitchenAid and that is a lot easier. But like I said, put that back in the bowl and we'll leave that to prove for an hour or until it's touching the plate, and that'll be ready to shape into whatever we want. Okay, so I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel because I'm posting more tips and tutorials, and hopefully just inspiring a few more of you out there to give it a go. So get in that kitchen and get baking.